Melodifestivalen is an annual music competition organized by Swedish public broadcasters Sveriges Television and Sveriges Radio. It determines the country's representative for the Eurovision Song Contest, and has been staged almost every year since 1959. Since 2000, the competition has been the most popular television program in Sweden. It is also broadcast on radio and the internet. In 2012, the semi-finals averaged 3.3 million viewers, and over an estimated 4 million people in Sweden watched the final, almost half of the Swedish population. The festival has produced 6 Eurovision winners and 18 top 5 placings for Sweden at the contest. The winner of the Melodifestival has been chosen by panels of jurors since its inception. Since 1999, the juries have been joined by a public telephone vote which has an equal influence over the final outcome. The competition makes a considerable impact on music charts in Sweden. The introduction of semi-finals in 2002 raised the potential number of contestants from around 12 to 32. A children's version of the competition, Lilla Melodifestivalen, also began that year. Light orchestrated pop songs, known locally as Schlager music, are so prevalent that the festival is sometimes referred to as Schlagerfestivalen by the Swedish media. However, other styles of music such as rap, reggae, and glam rock have made an appearance since the event's expansion. The introduction of a grand final in Stockholm has attracted substantial tourism to the city. Origins. With 7 nations competing, the first Eurovision Song Contest took place in Lugano, Switzerland in May 1956. Sweden's first contest was the third, in 1958. Without broadcasting a selection, Sveriges Radio chose to send Alice Babs to the contest in Hilversum. The song selected was Samastjärna Liza for Ostivia, later renamed Lillestjärna. It finished 4th at Eurovision on the 12th of March 1958. The first Melodifestival incorporated into the Sagdet Med music radio series took place on the 29th of January 1959 at Circus in Stockholm. 8 songs participated. 4 expert juries in Stockholm, Gothenburg, Malmö, and Luleå decided the winner. The competition was won by SIW Malmvist performing Augustin, but Senior decided that the winning song, regardless of its original performer, would be performed by Britta Borg at Eurovision. This policy of selecting the artist for Eurovision internally and having other artists perform potential Swedish entries at Melodifestivalen was stopped in 1961. The competition became a stand-alone television program in 1960, known as the Eurovision Svensk Final. In the event's early years, it was broadcast to Norway and Denmark through the Nordvision network. The competition adopted its current name, Melodifestivalen, in 1967. The Melodifestival has failed to be staged on 3 occasions. In 1964, the competition was cancelled due to an artist strike. Sweden did not send a song to Eurovision that year. Sweden was absent at Eurovision for a second time in 1970 because of a Nordic boycott of the voting system, which had led to a 4-way tie for first place at the 1969 contest. After Senior staged the 1975 contest in Stockholm, left-wing groups argued that Sweden should not spend money to win and host Eurovision again. This led to mass demonstrations against commercial music and the organization of an anti-commercial alternative festivalen. Therefore, Sweden decided not send a song to Eurovision 1976, but returned in 1977. Participation. Hundreds of songs and performers have entered Melodifestivalen since its debut. Although songwriters living outside Sweden were once not allowed to enter Melodifestivalen, the 2012 contest marked the first time foreign songwriters could submit entries, provided that they collaborated with a Swedish songwriter. To be eligible, songwriters and performers must be at least 16 years of age on the day of the first Eurovision semi-final. Until 2001, participation in the festival was limited to a single night. The number of contestants ranged from 5 to 12. A two-round system was used intermittently between 1981 and 1998, in which all but 5 of the contestants were eliminated in a first round of voting. Failure to reach the second round under this system was seen as a major failure for a prominent artist, when Elizabeth Andreevsen failed to qualify. In 1984, it almost ended her career. The introduction of weekly semi-finals in 2002 increased the number of contestants to 32. At least 10 of the contestants must perform in Swedish. A CD of each year's competing songs has been released since 2001, and a DVD of the semi-finals and final since 2003. Melodifestivalen has been the launchpad for the success of popular local acts, such as ABBA, Tommy Körberg, and Lisa Nilsson. The competition has played host to performers from outside Sweden, including Baccara, Alana Miles, and Cornelis Vreeswijk. Melodifestivalen participants have also represented, and unsuccessfully tried to represent, other countries at Eurovision. While local success for Melodifestivalen winners is common, most contestants return to obscurity and few have major international success. The impact that the competition makes on the Swedish charts means an artist need not win the competition to earn significant domestic record sales. For example, the song which finished last at Melodifestivalen 1990, Symphony, by Lo Folkman, topped the Swedish singles chart. The most recent occurrence was 2016 with Samir and Amp Victor's song Badinakna. In 2007, 21 participants reached Sveriges topplistan. The week after the 2008 final, songs from the festival made up the entire top 15 on the domestic singles chart. Selection of contestants. The process of narrowing thousands of potential entries down to 32 lasts over 7 months. SVT directly selects 16 entries from amongst the submissions from the public at large. 15 additional entries come from special invitations made by SVT or other entries that SVT has selected from amongst the submissions. Finally, the 32nd entry is selected via the online web Joker competition, open to artists whose music has not available for sale in Sweden prior to the deadline. The entire process can begin as early as May of the previous year and is finished by January. Songs SVT begins looking for songs 9 months before the start of the televised Melodifestival. The deadline for submission is in September and songs can be in any language. In the pre-selection, song length is limited to 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Songs must be shortened to 3 minutes if they reach the final 28 and qualifying songs may also be remixed. The submission process is overseen by members of the Swedish Music Publishers Association, whose task is to reduce the number of songs, which have numbered over 3,000 a year since 2002, to around 1,200. The 3,440 entries received in the pre-selection for Melodifestivalen 2009 is the most in the competition's history. The SMFF's choices are then given to a 16-person jury of music professionals, SVT staff and other members of the public. The jury ranges from teenagers to people in the 50s. The songs that qualify, along with the composers and lyricists, are announced at the the end of September. This is often followed by fervent speculation over who will perform the songs. Songwriters that qualify must provide interviews to SVT, attend a press conference before the competition, and remain open to promotional appearances if the song reaches the final. Artists and wildcards. SVT selects performers for the entries. Artists who performed the demo of a song automatically enter the competition. They must perform the songs if suitable alternate performers cannot be found. The artist's songs risk disqualification if they refuse. In the past, this rule led to the disqualification of, among others, Carol's "Na Love and Faller" in 2003 and Stephen Simmons's "So Good" in 2006. SVT may also give songs to other performers without considering the interests of the demo artist. This prevented the brand Star City Slackers and Pernilla Wahlgren from performing the songs they had submitted. Replacements for disqualified songs fare unpredictably at the competition. In 2006, Naughty Boy by Hannah Graf finished second to last in its semi-final. In 2002 and 2007, by contrast, the replacements performed by Jan Johansson and Mans Zelmerlöw reached the final 10. The contestants that will perform the 28 qualifiers from the pre-selection are announced in late November. Singer-songwriters are common. As such, artists often confirm that they will participate before the official announcement. The wildcard system was introduced in 2004 to diversify the music featured. 4 artists, one in each semi-final, are invited by SVT to enter a song of their choice into the competition, provided it does not breach the rules. The wildcard songs and artists are announced in January. Since the wildcard's introduction, 3 have won the competition. Today, in 2011, there are 15 wildcards. Hosting. The venues for each year's Melodifestival are announced in September of the preceding year. The semi-finals are held in towns and cities throughout Sweden. The 16,300 capacity Ericsson Globe in Stockholm has hosted the final since the semi-finals were introduced in 2002 through to 2012. In 2013, the final moved to the newly built Friends Arena in Solna Municipality, Stockholm County. The Scandinavium in Gothenburg was offered the 2005 final, but turned it down as it clashed with a Frölunda ice hockey match. The event spent its early years at one venue, Circus in Stockholm, which hosted the first 10 competitions. It has hosted the final of Melodifestivalen 17 times in total. The Stockholm Globe Arena has hosted 7 finals, and SVT's headquarters in Stockholm has staged 5. The competition first took place outside Stockholm in 1975 as part of a decentralization policy at Senior. Stockholm has hosted 37 finals in total, including the first 14. Gothenburg has hosted 8, and Malmö 7. The competition's final has never been held outside these cities. Before the expansion, the host of the previous year's Melodifestival would host the Eurovision Song Contest in the event of a Swedish victory. Hence, the 1985 Eurovision was held in Gothenburg, and the 1992 contest in Malmö. Since 2002, the only venue that has hosted more than 3 semi-finals is Gothenburg's Scandinavium, which has hosted one every year since 2003. In 2008, Andra Chansen was held in Kiruna, north of the Arctic Circle. Televised rounds. The televised Melodifestival lasts 5 weeks and consists of 6 live shows, 4 semi-finals, in which 8 songs compete, a second chance round featuring songs which narrowly missed out on qualification from the semi-finals, and a grand final. 10 songs comprise the final, 2 automatic qualifiers from each of the semi-finals, and the 2 most popular songs in the second chance round. In 2015, there are 7 songs for each semi-final, and 12 in the final. Semi-finals and second chance. Prior to the introduction of the current format of semi-finals in 2002, the competition was usually a single live show. Under the current system, 4 semi-finals are broadcast at 2000 CET on consecutive Saturday nights. The semi-finals begin in early February, and 8 songs compete in each show. Unlike in the final, no juries are used. Televoting decides the results. The songs are performed live with telephone lines open for the first round of voting. The song receiving the most votes in the first round automatically qualifying to the final, skipping the second round. The remaining top 4 battled again for a place in the final, and Andra Chansen ran the second-place song qualifying to the final, and the third and fourth-placed songs progressing to Andra Chansen. Both finalists reprise their entries at the end of the broadcast. The organization of a semi-final system for Melodifestivalen popularized televised heats at national Eurovision selections. A similar system was adopted by the Eurovision itself in 2004. The second chance round is the 5th heat in which the 9th and 10th places in the final are decided. The 3rd and 4th place songs from each semi-final compete in the event. The first second chance round in 2002 had a panel of former winners decide the 2 finalists. Between 2003 and 2006, the semi-final performances were rebroadcast, and a round of voting narrowed the songs to 3 or 4. Another round then determined the 2 finalists. The program was broadcast on the Sunday afternoon after the 4th semi-final. It was held in a smaller venue than those that would have hosted the semi-finals, such as Berns Salonga in Stockholm, which hosted the second chance round in 2005. In 2007, the second chance round became a full semi-final, taking place in a venue comparable in size to those hosting the others. The expanded second chance takes place on a Saturday night, adding an extra week to the event's timetable. The format of voting also changed with the introduction of a knockout system. The system pairs the 8 songs off against each other, then narrows them down to 4 before pairing them off again. The winners of the 2 second-round pairings go through to the final. The 2 finalists do not reprise the songs at the end of the program. The final takes place at 2000 CET on a Saturday in mid-March. 10 songs participate, 2 from each semi-final, 2 from the second chance round, and, only in 2009, the international jury's choice. A running order is decided by the competition's supervisors the week before to ensure that similar songs and artists are kept apart in the final. Dress rehearsals for the final are held on the prior Friday, and tickets sell out almost as quickly as those for the final itself. The final attracts much tourism to its host city. A survey in 2006 showed that 54% of spectators had traveled from outside the host city, Stockholm. Of these, 6% had come from outside Sweden. As at Eurovision, a broadcast of the EBU logo introduces and closes the television coverage, accompanied by the prelude to Marc-Antoine Charpentier's setting of Stadium. Video postcards introduce the entries. The final includes interval performances, which are performed while the juries deliberate and before the televote closes. Former Melodifestivalen contestants have performed as interval acts in the past, including Lena Philipsson in 2005 and the multi-artist medley of former entries in 2000. The winner receives a trophy, Den Stora Sangfegeln, from the previous year's winner. The trophy, designed by Ernst Billgren, was unveiled in 2005 and awarded to all previous Melodifestivalen winners at the Alla Tiders Melodifestival Gala in March of that year. The winner of the competition reprises the song at the end of the event. Voting. Before the introduction of the current voting system in 1999, a group of regional or age-based juries decided the winner of Melodifestivalen. In 1993, televoting was used experimentally, but proved unsuccessful. The Swedish telephone network collapsed due to the number of calls, and claims by the Swedish tabloid press suggested the use of televoting had drastically altered the results. Evening newspapers released what they claimed to be the backup jury's votes, which showed that the winner, Arvingarna's Eloise, would have finished fourth had the jury's votes counted. SVT never confirmed the accuracy of these claims. The current voting format, introduced in 1999, is a positional voting system, similar to that used at the Eurovision Song Contest. The voting is made up of two segments, in the first of which juries announce the votes. In the second segment, the televoting result is announced. The total value of votes has usually been 2 by 473 points, which means that televotes and juries have an equal 50/50ths weighing in the final result. The juries, usually 11, have represented either Swedish regions or, since 2010, countries participating in the year's Eurovision Song Contest. Each jury award 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 points to the top 7 songs. After the jury voting, the televoting result is revealed by the hosts in ascending order. Between 1999 and 2011, the televoting points were fixed. The top 7 songs would receive 11, 22, 44, 66, 88, 110 and 132 points. Starting in 2011, televoting points are given to each entry based on its percentage of total vote. If an entry receives 10% of the televotes, it will be equivalent to 10% of 473 points, i.e., 48 points. The song with the highest number of points at the end of the voting is the winner. Telephone lines open immediately after the radio preview for the final and are not closed until the juries have voted. 2 telephone numbers are used for each song, giving voters the option of whether to donate money to SVT's Radio Hjälpen charity appeal or not as they vote. Viewers can also vote by text message, and only residents of Sweden can vote. The votes of the juries are announced by spokespeople who are not members of the juries. The votes are read in ascending order, beginning with 1 point and finishing with 12. When read, they are repeated by the host. For example, spokesperson, ETT Poang till Melody nummer TVA. Quote, presenter, ETT Poang till. Since 2012, most spokespeople have announced the points in English, with the hosts repeating them in Swedish. As the votes are announced, they are collated on a graphic scoreboard. SVT varies the way the jury votes are announced from year to year. For example, the finalists of Expedition Robinson acted as spokespeople in 2004, and in 2006 Fredrik Lindström announced jury tallies using the dialects of each region. The final of Melodifestivalen has broken Nordic voting records on several occasions. In 2007, voting figures exceeded 2 million for the first time. If there is a tie, the song that has received more votes from the public receives the higher position. There have been 2 ties for first place in the history of the contest. In 1969, Tommy Körberg tied for first place with Jan Malmsho. The juries then voted for the favorite out the 2, leading to Tommy Körberg winning. In 1978, Björn Skifs tied for first place with Lasse Holm and Wizek, a similar tie-break process resulting in Skifs winning. Winners. 55 of Sweden's 56 Eurovision representatives have come from Melodifestivalen. Sweden has won the Eurovision Song Contest 6 times, in 1974, 1984, 1991, 1999, 2012 and 2015. Sweden has the second highest number of wins for a country at Eurovision. Only Ireland has won the contest more often. The 1974 Eurovision winner ABBA's Waterloo was voted the most popular Melodifestivalen song of all time at the Alla Tiders Melodifestival Gala in March 2005. Later that year, it was voted most popular Eurovision song of the contest's first 50 years at a gala in Copenhagen. The following table lists those entries which finished 5th or higher at Eurovision. Presenters. This list includes those who have acted as presenters of Melodifestivalen. In 1986, there were 2 presenters for the first time, while in 2000, 2004, 2005 and 2006 various people were presented the shows. Presenters who have competed at Eurovision. Presenters who have presented the Eurovision in Sweden. Rules. Most of Melodifestivalen's rules are dictated by those of the Eurovision Song Contest. However, regulations have been introduced by the Swedish broadcasters. The competition's official rules are released by SVT early in preparation for each year's Melodifestival, to ensure any changes are noted by songwriters and performers. There was a limit of 6 people on stage for each performance. This included the Melodifestivalen choir, a 5-person group of flexible backing singers used by most participants. Artists could use some or all of the backup singers, or use their own group. All vocals had to be completely live. Human voices were not allowed on backing tracks. However, from 2009, the number of performers allowed on stage was 8, and voices were allowed on backing tracks. A live orchestra was used every year from the event's debut to 2000, except 1985 and 1986. 2 orchestras were used between 1960 and 1963. A large orchestra and Goethe Wilhelmsen's Kvartet, a jazz quartet. Since 2001, participants have performed to backing tracks. Entries cannot be publicly broadcast until the semi-finals are previewed on radio. Entries eliminated in the semi-finals may be broadcast as soon as the semi-final has finished. An embargo is placed on songs that qualify for the later rounds until the previews for the second chance of broadcast. After this, restrictions on the broadcast of contestant songs are lifted. Broadcasters sometimes make sweeping changes to winning songs before they go to Eurovision. For example, at Melodifestivalen 1961, SIW Malmkvist won with April. Performing after her victory, she stumbled on the lyrics of the song and laughed out loud. The press criticized this as childish. Senior replaced her with Lil Babs for the Eurovision Song Contest. The 1987 winner, Firebug and Coca-Cola, performed by Lotta Engberg, is another example. The song's title was changed to Boogaloo for Eurovision, as use of a brand name was against the contest's rules. This name was chosen as Sweden's 2 previous Eurovision winners had also included the suffix "lu." Until 1999, competing songs were only permitted in Swedish, apart from 1965, 1973, 1974, 1975. This did not stop most winning entries recording English versions of the songs. Since the abolition of Eurovision's language restrictions in 1999, regardless of the performance language at Melodifestivalen, every Swedish entry has been in English. Spanish, French, Greek, Italian, Portuguese, Bosnian and Persian are among the other languages to have featured. Cameron Cartio's entry in Melodifestivalen 2005 was performed in a constructed language. Media coverage. Melodifestivalen is broadcast on television, radio and the Internet. It is broadcast on SVT1 with international coverage on SVT World. Until 1987, the competition was broadcast on Sveriges Radio TV, later known as TV1. Between 1988 and 2000, the event was broadcast on different channels depending on where it was held. Finals in Stockholm were broadcast on Kanal 1 while finals in Gothenburg and Malmö were broadcast on TV2. Sveriges Radio has broadcast the event on P1, P3 and P4, where it is currently broadcast. Although the final is traditionally held on a Saturday, in 1990 it was held on a Friday. TV2 suggested this would attract more viewers. In 1991, it was held on Easter Sunday for the same reason. The 2002 final was delayed by a week for coverage of the 2002 Winter Olympics. The competition has had an official website since 1999. Webcasts have been provided since 2005. Since 2006, between February and the Eurovision final in May, Senior has webcast a radio station dedicated to the competition called P4 Melodifest. On P4, the public previews semi-finalists every Friday. Broadcast the night after the final, a Dagen after television program acts as an epilogue to the event. It gauges the reactions of the finalists after the competition's climax. No commentary is given for the event on television. Carolina Norén is commentator on the event for Sveriges Radio. The festival has been broadcast in widescreen since 2002 and Dolby Digital since 2004. The competition's viewing figures have been rising since 2002. In 2007, approximately 4.1 million Swedes, almost 44% of the country's population, watched the final, and between 2.9 million and 3.2 million viewers watched each of the semi-finals. The viewing figures for the 2007 festival are nearly 2 million short of the highest recorded viewing figures from 1990. Melodifestivalen is given heavy coverage in the Swedish press. A study by the Economic Science and Communication Department at Karlstad University concluded that coverage from the press may have influenced the results of the 2007 festival.